First and foremost, my message today is that New Yorkers are safe. There are no current credible threats to any individuals, organizations, or locations here in New York City. New Yorkers are safe, but everyone, all 8.6 million residents and the millions of visitors who come here every year, should always remain vigilant and aware of their surroundings.
In a moment like this, there's a lot of concern, there's a lot of fear. Clearly, it's an upsetting time. It's a time when there's been too much hatred and too much division in the air. And in that context, people can feel powerless. I want to remind people that everyone has an opportunity to play a positive and constructive role here.
As to the devices located in New York, which contained a powder, the initial analysis indicates that the powder in those particular envelopes did not present a biological threat. Other analysis is ongoing. However, it is worth repeating that any device could be considered potentially dangerous and treated as such until proven otherwise.
I'm just a little confused on the powder. Just as a clarification, are you referring to the white powder that was found in this package mailed to CNN, or is this powder that was in the device?
No, this is the powder that was found yesterday with the packaging yesterday. So it's not biological. It's still being subjected to further testing.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.